Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Strap yourselves in, friends. This is going to be a long one. We're going to do the full off season, the full season, and at the very end, we're going to do a bit of a look at how things have gone since you started back in OOTP 22. Also, at the end of the video, I will announce what team I'll be playing as in the Friday series. As for the new Monday series, once you finish a tour through history, which will be... So just a really quick reminder. In 1 second. Until we finish with the tour through history, I'm going to keep OOTP 23 for that season, for that only, just because there's only going to be another 5 or 6 episodes, and I'd rather just finish it off. Once that is finished, though, I will start a new Monday series. Thank you very much to the commenter who very kindly pointed out that only the KBO is the only international league that's going to be in the next version. So that's a definite possibility, because I know quite a few people have asked me to do something outside of Major League Baseball. The other possibility is an entirely fictional league. So I'm going to leave that up to you all to make, to just give me some advice. But I have already decided on the team for the Friday series that will be beginning next week, and I will share that at the end of the video. So... prepare yourselves for that. Alright, in our previous episode, we won our 3rd consecutive World Series title. It was a truly glorious moment. We won the game in extra innings in Game 7, exactly the way you want to do it. And we're going to try to make it a 4-peat in this episode. That's our objective. But whether we do it or not, I'm very pleased how this team has turned out, and we'll have a nice chat about that toward the end. So, what do we have to deal with in arbitration? Well, we already signed Salgado and Addison to new deals. We're going to let Tony Pagan walk. We're going to take the risk because I want another draft pick if I can get it. Actually, wait a minute. No, I don't care. This is the last episode. So there's very little point in getting a draft pick that won't be ready. So yeah, I'm just going to let him walk. He has done fine service for us, and he will be missed, but I also feel fairly confident we'll be able to replace him without too much of an issue. Whether that's Jose Barrera getting a proper shot to play every day, whether it's moving Chris Cannon to first and, say, letting Jose Lola play third, we'll figure something out. Of that I have no doubt. I think we're good for coaching. At least we have offers in. We do. Let's just dive right in and go up to free agency filings. Well, Hall of Fame first, but... Do you have a better offer? What if I offered you 150 grand? How does that sound, friend? I'm not going to bother. If you don't want to stay, Mr. Salazar, you want to find your own way in life, then by all means. I wish you well of it. Addison stays. Salgado stays. Yeah, Epps just really doesn't want to be here, which is fine. There's no law that says we have to have it here. Front office. Poisonell. So I need a new manager for Rookie League. Let's get the sauce. Let's get Saucedo here. Fantastic. Very good. Very, very good. We're going to go up to Hall of Fame voting and see who's eligible. Oh, right. I mean, I don't really care. I could just cut him because he's already a free agent. Yeah, let's get his free agency started early. Oh wow. Former Pirate Thomas Mitterwallner got an award. Well done for him. I mean, in hindsight, Tony Sanders wasn't that great, but I'm still proud of him. A Gold Glove for Angelo Robinson and Dave McTavish. Isn't that his second Gold Glove for McTavish? It is. And I know Angelo Robinson's already won a pair. So, hey, as long as he provides Gold Glove level defense, I don't much care what he provides offensively. I'm perfectly satisfied to let that be a thing. You would offer me the Juan Rodriguez, which I'd politely but firmly reject. Who do we get a Silver Slugger for? Ivan Garza made it. Well done, my friend. And then, of course, Manager of the Year. Lovely. Loera and Cordova. We're going to figure out something to do with both of them. I'm going to go up to free agency filings. Oh, I did mean to... That's fine. Free agency filings isn't going to change the Hall of Fame voting very much. Jose Pineda. He's not a bad pitcher. He's a lefty, knuckle curve and changeup. Decent velocity. Is he better than anyone on my current staff? I mean, he's better than a lot of pitchers on my current staff. That would actually make us a pretty decent team. What am I giving you in exchange? Look, Vallejo might be amazing in 3 years, but he's not very good defensively. Alex Rodriguez is defense only. I kind of want to keep Cordova, though. Cordova is the breaking point for me. Not because I expect anything big, but because he's actually a very talented outfielder, and he might even make the majors. So let's drop Cordova and see if that's good enough for you. It is not. Hey, if you want Vivanco, you may have him. Done. Pineda is a very nice additional starting pitcher. We'll make it work. That offers us a very solid number 3. And therefore lets us kick the can down the road on a couple of these other pitchers. So I'm pretty happy about that. All right. Let us now quickly pop over to here. Is there anybody here that I want to keep? On the 40-man. Probably Cordova is the only one. But keeping Carrero makes sense too. Here, Eric Strong, goodbye. And I'm going to add Cordova and Carrero to the 40-man. Mario Carrera is a fine hitter, but I don't see a lot of value in him, so I think I'm just going to let him do his thing. And I think this is good. I think this is fine. I'm not going to mess with anything else here. Okay, great. Hall of Fame, please. I will happily vote for Nate Bemis. He seems like a good chap. Toss some votes to some former Pirates and Brinkman, Brown, and Cerulli. Juan Espinosa deserves a little bit of love. I could see that happening. I mean, only a third of his, like, almost a third of his hits are home runs. That's pretty impressive. I'll vote for Mike Grasham. I'll vote for Sean Hill. I'll even vote for I'm literally just going to vote for everybody that I see a pit for, just so we can get in a couple last Hall of Famers. Now, Florenzo Ingles is extremely deserving of the Hall of Fame. Anybody thrilling? We could vote for Julio Mifflin, just for fun. I genuinely think Danny Morales deserves it. Like, I know we're doomed. I know it's not going to happen, but I do kind of feel like he needs the opportunity. I mean, Jorge Morez is over 700 homers. That seems pretty good. That's a spicy meat to ball right there. Sure. I think it's the AUS thinking it's Austria, like he plays for Austria, but that's obviously not a thing. That is not a thing at all. Noble for Victor Zorate, too. There we go. In all honesty, though, only Ramirez seems like a shoo-in to be a first ballot guy, but we'll see what happens. We're going to go up to free agency filings. All right. Let's talk about what we've got money for. And what we even need. So the money is pretty solid. I've got the money to invest in any free agent that we think would be helpful. I wouldn't mind a first baseman if we can get a truly legendary one. That I would invest in. But honestly, that might be it. I don't really feel like there's... no, clear this, please. And let me look at all players. I could even get Tony Pagan. A guy like Jacob Etienne with elite power might be very nice. We stuck him at first base. Or stuck somebody else at first. Somebody else can be a DH and he can, or someone else can be at first base. So you can play DH. That's fine. I mean, Jonathan Dolores would give us an impossibly awesome rotation. I think I'm gonna offer both of them. So we're gonna offer contract. I genuinely don't care. We're going all in to win one more World Series if we can manage it. I don't even care if I lose a draft pick. All right. I like it. Let us advance time a bit. Yeah, between Addison and hopefully the new guy, we've got a really solid power core. Just mixing the rest of the team, and yeah, I feel pretty good. And we got Dolores. Lovely. We lose a third round draft pick. Oh no. Anyway. Action is thinking about it. Oh, I do need to free up room on the 40 man. That is a truth. Kevin Shavers and Brandon Tipler can be waived. That's fine. And there goes Dolores. Yeah, our rotation is becoming positively terrifying, and I love that for us. I think that's going to be a tremendous asset when and if we make the playoffs. I don't want to get too bold promising the playoffs, but I feel pretty decent about it. Who'd give me Alex Contreras? I don't need a reliever, though. I'm pretty happy with the relievers I got. Thanks, but no thanks. I think I've got my first baseman. Otherwise, I'd strongly consider this deal, but I think this is a no from me, dog. Ah, yes. Mr. Shavers and Mr. Tipler, off you go. That guy is sure taking his time to sign, isn't he? I'm just going to just auto-send through the Rule 5 draft. I just don't care. There he goes. Yeah, I don't need mediocre relief pitchers. I can very easily find all the relief pitchers I could ever want. I don't see what it is about this team where teams are like, what if I offered you a bad relief pitcher? How does that sound? Like, no, it sounds terrible. What the fuck is wrong with you? I can't believe I used to live literally 15 minutes from that stadium. I never went to see the Captains play. It just didn't work out. The timing never quite worked out for me. I only lived there for about like a year. a little bit less than a year. So that's why, but I haven't actually seen. No, I take that back. I did see the Akron Arrows, now the Rubber Ducks, play when I was a kid. That was fun. I enjoyed that. I don't know quite what I'm going to do about first base yet. It feels like I probably need to put somebody there. Ramirez, Bemis, and Contreras made it. That's reasonable. I have no further questions. I feel a tiny bit bad for Barreras because like he's been champing at the bit to get his actual opportunity to show what he can do, and it just hasn't happened for him yet. Hey, we ended up getting both ERA leaders, the AL and the NL. That's pretty dope. I don't need yet another pitcher. I think I'm satisfied with the pitchers I have. But thanks for playing. So I'm gonna auto do the draft because again I'm not playing another season with this franchise. I'm not even gonna play it independently, to be honest with you. Satchel Paige, your age is your age. It doesn't matter whether you know it or not. Now, they may be difficult to identify, but it's like you don't get to change your age just because you don't know when you were born. There is a fact of how old you are. But anyway. Let's go right to spring training. It's going to be a very crowded group. And we're going to move people around and hopefully come up with the best possible team. I'd love to win a fourth World Series. That would be pretty great if we could win a fourth consecutive World Series. And all we did was take a good rotation and make it elite. So I feel reasonably good about our chances. Now, injuries are always a thing. And I think we have enough depth to cover some injuries, but at a certain point there will be too many injuries, and so that's something we're gonna have to keep our eyes peeled on that front. You are so far away from the majors, like it's not even entertaining. It's just a fact. Anyway, so we're gonna run a 6-man rotation in the in spring training. I am here for that. And then I'm just gonna let you do whatever you want to for your lineups here. Who are you benching? You're benching Falcon. I don't agree with that. Stop it. I know why you want Cepeda, because Cepeda's really good defensively, and at least traditionally is a good player, but I like Falcon better. He's just better, okay? I mean, I could play Falcon at first base, so we have options here. But yeah, let's go ahead and put Mr. Falcon in left field for now against right-handed pitching, and then let the rest go how it may. All right. Okay, good. Always lovely to see progress. I guess if there was one team, then one thing this team could still use would be like um, an elite reliever. Like, we've got several good relievers, but we hardly have any great ones. Is there a reliever on the market who would strengthen our bullpen? There's a couple of nice ones, but there's not like the kind of top flight reliever that I would trust to give the ball to at all times. I think we're fine. I don't think I'm going to mess with the bullpen at this time. I also am kind of looking forward to there being fewer international leagues. I think it is dragging down the speed of the game, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Pagan already hurt, not a shock. Let me put to you this: this is not going to be a cakewalk. I think our team is significantly better than the team that just won the World Series. However, the other teams get a vote too. And some of them are, to be quite honest with you, very intimidating. So we're going to have to make some careful decisions as the season progresses. Okay. I presently have 18 pitchers. Let's get rid of at least 5 of them. So here's the thing. McTavish is... No, it's going to be Cordova. It's going to be that guy. It's going to be Loera. It's going to be White. And it's going to be Velo. Like, I don't think Velo's going to get grabbed. If he does, he does. What does this leave me at in terms of pitchers? 13. I think that's fine. The only change I'm going to make is I'm going to make McTavish an emergency starter, long reliever. Now, this assumes that Manny Carrera stays on the roster. No, quit fucking stuff up. He is my stopper. And you can be a 7th inning setup guy if you want. That's how Hodges is best used. If you take advantage of his rubber arm and just make him pitch lots and lots. Okay. Now, there's every possibility we don't keep Carrero. In fact, I would say that's a fairly high possibility. So actually, I'm going to send on Carrero right now. And we're going to bring up possibly Cordova. Yeah, let's try Cordova out. He can get some long reps in, so there we go. 5-man rotation, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. Great. I have 23 position players. This has to get rectified before I can do anything else. Lozano and Alvarez. No, not Lozano. Keeping Lozano. That's not the guy I meant. Lola and Alvarez both go to the minors. Trejo to the minors. Melgar to the minors. Morales. Cordova to the minors. I still have way too many outfielders. Mario Mendoza to the minors. I think that's fair. Do I want Barrera in the majors? Does Barrera serve a purpose if he's not playing regularly? I don't think he does, so I'm going to send him to the minors. And one more outfielder has got to go. Probably Elijah Jackson. I'm going to be honest with you. Oh, but Elijah can play center and Zepeda can't. Does anybody want Marvin Zepeda? No, that leaves us vulnerable in left because Falcone definitely can't play left against right-handed pitching. I really like Lozano, though. Elijah Jackson, I choose you to go to the minors. If you get picked, you get picked. I can't stop that, but I need to be down to 26, and now I am. So we're going to kill all of this. All right. Our very best overall hitter is... Interesting. Well, let's set the positions I know that I can set. Jordan Falcone plays left and hits leadoff. Elijah Bohannon plays right and hits second. I think my best all-around hitter now is probably Garza. But because of his elite on-base skills, I think Addison is actually the better choice to be the number 3 hitter. And then Garza can fit. Yeah, so we're going to go Addison. Playing first. Etienne. DHing and hitting cleanup. I forgot about Chris Cannon. I want Garza to have a decent spot, so it's going to be Garza, then Cannon. Angelo Robinson obviously is dead last and plays shortstop. Then Vincent Robinson. And then Juan Rodriguez. And give me a depth chart, please. Do I want Baca playing that often? I don't not want that. But let's step it down a bit, and then this is a no. Falcone is the ideal leadoff man, so you need to back the fuck off there. Okay, this is good. This is very good. I'm going to copy this lineup and depth chart over, but I'm probably going to make some adjustments here. First things first, Zepeda, you're in at this juncture because Falcone can't hit lefties. My question is, can Etienne? He really can't. I think Solorio's actually the better choice there. Or Hilliard. Isn't Hilliard a left? No, Hilliard is a righty. Hilliard is quite good against left-handed pitching. Let's try it. Let's try Hilliard at DH and then regenerate the depth chart. And then we're going to do every 7 games for catcher. It's not that I don't like Etienne, I do, but he's very obviously not a great choice to bat against left-handed pitching. He just basically becomes a non-factor. You're not a terrible pitcher either. Good to know. If I need a couple of extra innings, I know where I can try to find him. All right. Now, I don't trust Hilliard as much as I do Garza or Cannon. So we're going to swap these two. And then Garza can still hit there. And that, my friends, is that, I think. I think this is going to be our opening day roster. I did not know that about Ken Brett. Okay. So, this is in large part last year's roster. There are a couple of changes, specifically Etienne, and a dramatic overhaul of the rotation. And I'm fine with both of those things. I truly, truly am. Etienne should offer us an elite power bat in the center of the lineup. And if anything, our team's great weakness is we don't have a ton of contact hitters. Two of our contact hitters aren't even in the lineup. So that's something to monitor as the season progresses. We basically draw walks, hit the occasional hit, and then hopefully crush baseballs when the opportunity presents itself. Pitching staff is good. Again, do I wish we had a little bit more powerful bullpen? I do. But I don't think it's mandatory. I think with a rotation like this, we should be in pretty good shape. So friends, Romans, and countrymen, let us go ahead and play some baseball games. Alright, we got some DFAs. They both got through. I knew Velo would, but I didn't think Jackson would. So that is a huge deal. You kind of figured the Angels would have like an angel mascot, but apparently not. Apparently not. Jesus Lozano casually goes 5 for 5, even though he's a reserve and doesn't play that often. I respect the shit out of that. I gotta be honest, we have gotten a ton of production from our bench and our secondary performers over the last several seasons. I think that's been a huge deal to our success. Like, to be able to bring in a reserve and have him casually hit 5 for 5 is pretty glorious. I'm not gonna lie. I think we've done a really good job of filling out the back end of the bullpen too. Not just that. Why did I get this message? Is Khalil Roberts like one of mine? Did I draft him or something? I wonder why I got tagged in that one. I mean, he's on my short list. I wonder if he's a pitcher I considered taking. But I didn't, whatever that means. I'm not going to look at stats. It's only 1 month into the season. Let's see how things look in June. Okay, a torn ACL for Falcone isn't ideal. Outfielder, I would most like to give an opportunity is probably Mendoza. However, I will let Zapata play every day. I think he's earned that much. Especially if I don't have a guy like Falcone, I'm happy to let Zapata get some quality time in there. Game really likes Baca. I mean, Baca's having a pretty good season, but it's not like Rodriguez is playing badly either, so whatever. All right. Now, one of the things I can already tell you for next season is I'm going to turn off automatic league expansion, and I'm actually going to go ahead and at a certain point we'll just decide to expand the league just to make things interesting. Another 5-hit game for Lozano. Okay. Bohannon can have a rest. I'm not gonna I put him on the IL or anything, but duly noted. We'll probably push in this episode after the Hall of Fame is decided, because I want to see. Well, if Salgado retires, because I do want to see if he's going to make the Hall of Fame. But only if he retires will I bother with that. Sorry, Bobby Addison. I know you want to come back, but I'm not coming back. So you do you. What do you need to do? Oh. Garza's out for 2 weeks. It's already been a week. I don't see much point in putting him on the IL, so I'll just kind of ignore that. Alright. So let's take a quick look at the team and how it's going. Marvin Zapata is both doing his job and not doing his job. Is he getting on base? Yes. Is he doing anything else of note? He is not. Thankfully, Falcon will be back in about a week, and we can go from there. Bohannon is performing well. Addison and Etienne are both amazing, as is Garza. Some issues with Cannon and Robinson, so there's definitely some room to grow for both of them. Rodriguez having a great season, and Robinson is still playing for the Pirates. Pitching-wise, only Salgado looks like he's in rough shape. But other than that, this is about as good as we could have expected. I'm not going to fuck with anything. We're just going to keep playing, at least for one more month, and then see if I need to make any decisions of interest. Your mother was team-oriented, Tim McCarver. You heard me. Alright, the Falcon has landed. Back with the Pirates. I'm going to try to trade Zepeda. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull it off, but I do think I'd rather keep Mendoza. Any interesting prospects that might be had for Mr. Marvin Zepeda? I will happily go after John McGee. That seems like a really good choice. Done. Then I can reactivate the Falcon. And we can go Falcon 1. And, oh, Mendoza's left-handed. That I didn't think of. He's reasonably competent even against left-handed pitching. I'm willing to give him that chance. Or is Falcon actually that bad? He really is. And you'll play left field there. Dumb. Alright, cool. Let us continue forwards. Yeah, Joaquin Serrano isn't that interesting to me, so I will politely decline. Damn, Osorio, that's pretty dominant. I'm not going to bother with contracts. I am not going to bother with minor league free agents or coaching or any of that shit. Cincinnati's the top 3 hitters by WAR. That's kind of lame. I'm not going to lie. Broadwater is Pitcher of the Month for June. Lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I don't care too much about that stuff. How have you only had that many starts? No, you're actually starting at the correct level. Okay. I thought something was going horribly wrong, but no, it isn't. He's doing good. He's doing real good. We'll go and sum up to the All-Star break and then take a quick look at the team. Nope. That's hilarious. I could literally just take him for free. And yet they want me to trade for him. I don't want him anyway, but even if I did, like, come on, bruh. Come on. Don't be a fucking weirdo. I'm just gonna trust my dude to do his own thing. I'll just sign all the rookies because I don't care. Also, I don't have a third round pick this year because I signed Etienne instead. Or not Etienne, sorry. That was Dolores. Dolores? Is that the guy's name? I don't even remember. That's probably bad. It's just some guy. No. What the hell was that picture's name? It was in fact Dolores. Okay, I remembered it. Probably Dolores, if I'm not mistaken. But I could be mistaken. I'm sure I don't care. Alright, how many Pittsburgh Pirates are on the All-Star team? Let's look. Michael Broadwater, Bobby Addison, Ivan Garza. Only 3. Only Garza, Addison, and Broadwater. That's kind of disappointing, actually. Really? We've won 68 games and we only get 3 All-Stars. That seems kind of silly. But alright. Deloney. McGee. Cool. I'm going to really quickly see who's in the home run derby. And see if anybody from Pittsburgh is there. They are not. Unfortunate. I'm going to go right up to the trading deadline. And then see what we're looking at. Damn, son, bit of a cold spell. I don't want Chris Quintero. I don't want mediocre middle relievers. I don't know why you keep thinking that I do. I'm utterly flummoxed. I don't get it. I mean, at least Freddie Guzman is a good reliever. But no, John McGee is almost as good as Guzman right now. If I just wanted to call him up, I would. There we go. Let's get a couple W's here and there. Just for fun. Okay. Is there an obvious way to upgrade this roster? Yes and no. We're getting a lot of production from a lot of players, but we're not really getting elite production from any player. Addison and Etienne are both playing at a very high level. I'm not complaining about either one of them. And we're getting on base at a really high clip. So even though we don't hit for great averages, we're still doing plenty of damage with the baseball. The pitching staff is great. I don't really see any specific way to upgrade this roster in a meaningful way. Vincent Robinson, I don't know what your deal is. I don't know why you constantly just don't hit for average. But because you draw plenty of walks and lots of homers, and you're a pretty good center fielder too. I guess that would be like the one area I might be willing to make some changes in if we get like an elite center fielder. But I don't think there's going to be one available. I can check. Centenor Field, please. Nope. Let's just get stupid, right? I want a 70 overall center fielder. And search. There are some to be had. Many of them injured. Of course. I mean, Andres Hernandez would be literally perfect. But he's injured, and I don't know when he's coming back. Otherwise, I'm all over that. Can I trade for you? Oh, I can't because you're too injured. Unfortunate. I mean, Donahue Cook is really good. And you keep releasing him as a pitcher instead of as a center fielder, which I don't understand. What would it take to get Donahue Cook? I will throw prospects at you until you give him to me. That is how we roll here in Pittsburgh. You can't have McGee. Okay, you just don't want to give up Cook, which is fair. I'm probably not able to get Bermia either. I might be able to get Portillo's. Again, I'll start with Olvera and Murillo. Strepo and Deloney. Interesting. I don't know what I can offer you unless I add in Robinson. Maybe Robinson helps move the needle a bit. Okay, let's strip out some people here. Okay, I'm not giving you Garza. We're adding in Chris Cannon. Is this making us too weak? No, because I've got another guy that I can try. Yes, I'm going to make this deal. I'm going to give you Payne. So Portillo's comes into play center. And our new third baseman is going to be Solorio. And I'm going to call up Lola to be a backup. Okay, so first things first. Mr. Portillo's is an amazing hitter. So we're going to bat him... I guess 6th is fine, but let's actually... No, let's just let him bat there. That's fine. He'll get plenty of playing time. You're going to bat there. And then Solorio is going to play third base. And then we're going to generate a new depth chart. I don't want Lola getting equal time, but I don't mind him playing frequently. No. And that's fine. Generate depth chart. Every 7 games and every 10 games. I know Lola's good defensively. I understand that, but he's not here for defense. He's here just to play when Solorio needs a break. Okay. That's kind of blockbuster trade I was really hoping to get to make and improve our chances, I think. Are we better at third base without Chris Cannon? That I'm not too sure about. But I do know that Portillo's is instantly the best hitter on our team. So I feel really confident that that was a good decision, bringing him over to the Pirates. Okay. And we're going to go right the way to roster expansion. I'm going to call up McGee if he's available. You know, as much shit as we give certain teams for their nicknames, the New York Mets is pretty dumb. We're the Metropolitans. Like, come on. That's silly. Then again, the Dodgers is a dumb name too that makes no sense in LA. Because about like trolley Dodgers, which they didn't really have in LA at the time, but it's fine. This is less fun. I'm not saying that Bohannon is a megastar by any stretch of the imagination, but he isn't ideal to lose him. That said, playing Mendoza every day in right field should help, and I just need a better partner for Falcone. Any righties that are like quality hitters? Carrero's a quality hitter, but he's not a righty. He's a lefty. Although he's just about as good against lefties. Yeah, let's bring him up. So, Mario Mendoza's going to play right field every day. Garza's going to bat second. Solorio is going to bat there. When I could just bat Hilliard at left field and then put anybody I want to at DH. I think I'll do that. And then DH, I will try Carrero. And give him some reps. There we go. I don't like how good the Padres are being this season. I want that first round bye if I can manage it. That would be a very good thing. If we could manage it. I don't know that we can, but okay, so John McGee definitely gets called up. And sure, Danny Morales can be called up too. Morales is also a lefty. Of course he's also a lefty. Manny Carrero is long relief only. John McGee is middle relief. Okay. Let us proceed to the end of the regular season. Like, we've already clinched a playoff spot, and we're probably going to be clinching the division title here shortly. But I really want that freaking first round bye if we can manage it. So the Padres are the team I'm most concerned about right now. If we can keep pace with them, I'll feel pretty darn good. And there's the division title. Ooh, the Padres beat us in a series. I don't think it matters, though. I think we are locked in to being the number 1 seed. Let me really quickly check, though. Yeah, there's no way that San Diego can catch up. So we have earned our first round bye, which is excellent news. Congratulations, team. We done good. We done real good. 107 wins. If That is a pretty glorious swan song. Let's go to the playoff roster. I have literally nobody on the playoff roster. What the fuck? What just happened? Oh, I see. Okay. That was bizarre. Like, there are both playoffs and no playoffs. Lineups are good. Very quickly, we're going to go to a four-man rotation. We're going to leave Salgados out. Okay. I'm going to swap Dolores and Broadwater and Love just because Broadwater has been really good this season. I don't know why he doesn't throw more innings, though. Maybe I need to mess around with some of his settings because he could easily be throwing 200 innings. He just isn't for whatever reason. Anyway, yeah, let's get her done. Okay, I can skip to the next playoff round because I have a much needed bye. So the last thing we're going to do in this episode before we do like our recap and talk about what's coming next is I'm going to sim through the awards season and see what, if any, awards we get. Especially if Henry Salgado retired, but I don't think he did. I have a feeling that Salgado is still going to stick around. So the Reds are my first round opponent again. Not a shock. Not a shock. I'll tell you what is a shock, though. What is going on with Salgado? I kind of want to force him to retire, but he's not going to, I don't think. I could just make him retire by putting him in commissioner mode. You know what? The Yankees are still playing, I think. Let's wait till after the season and see if he retires. Because I do think the Yankees did make the playoffs. Oh, no, they did make the playoffs. Haha, fuck the Yankees. In that case, yeah, I'm going to quickly go to commissioner mode and make him retire. I just want to see if he can make the Hall of Fame. So I am going to turn on commissioner mode. I'm going to have him retire. And then I'm going to turn off commissioner mode. Wait, now he's disappeared. Did I delete him? Let's do Hector Salgado. Salgado, please. Oh no, his name was Henry, wasn't it? It was Henry Salgado. He was on my team for how fucking long, and yet I can't remember the guy's name. Yeah, that'll be kind of how I close everything out, is to see if he makes the Hall of Fame. I think he's got a fair chance, but we'll see what happens. A victory in Game 1. And in Game 2. Some excellent pitching by Michael Broadwater. And a sweep right into the LCS. Perfect. I'm rooting hard for El Paso. If they could kick the Padres out, I would feel very happy about that. But I don't think it's likely to happen. I think the San Diego is going to be pretty scary. Oh, the Yankees were actually still in the playoffs. I missed them. Oh, snap. I got what I wanted. We are playing the Maples instead of the Padres. That's very good news. Okay, a game 1 victory. Ooh, Broadwater got roughed up a bit. Okay, alright. An extra inning game in which we are narrowly victorious. A defeat. Ooh, these are really tight victories, each and every one of them. We haven't hit all that well this series. Can Broadwater close it out? He cannot. Oh dear. So it's up to Juan Love to take us to another World Series. Let's see if we can make that happen. And start game. Actually, I want to look at the head scout rating, so that's fine. We shall pitch to Julio Vargas of the El Paso Maples. Even though El Paso doesn't have any Maples that I know of. Good play by Hilliard. Oh, we must be facing a lefty. They must have a lefty for us to face. Okay. A fine opening inning, Mr. Love. A fine opening inning. What can you do, Mario Mendoza? What can Mendoza do for you? You can hit to the second baseman. Great work. Exactly what I was hoping for. That's an out. And Addison struck out. Okay. Oh no. You fucker. I at no point gave you permission to hit a home run. Stop that. I'm beginning to see their plan here. They have a team full of big power hitters. I think they're just hoping to get lucky and run into the odd baseball. Victor Almaguer. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. Good play, Solorio. Good play. Come on, team. We gotta do this. We gotta play well. That's an out. The fucking camera gave that away. I mean, we can't even get on base yet, so this is not ideal. Okay, Laguna's really good. Actually, I can't remember whether Laguna's really good or we're just hitting poorly, but whatever. Nice play, Rodriguez. Very nice play. That could have he could have easily beaten that out with a bit of luck. Oh no, don't start getting base runners. That's a terrible idea. What the fuck, guys? Can you stop being hittable? Like, one of your big traits is supposed to be able to just strike people out, and you're just giving up hit after hit after hit. We might need to pull him early. Oh, there we go. He rallied a bit, but Laguna's a really good pitcher, though. There's no disputing that. You have righty, lefty, righty coming up. Do I warm up Salgado? Is it time for Salgado? Or do I give Love one more inning? I think I have to give him at least one more inning. Okay, I need to start making people try to get him to draw walks. That's an out. You're all swinging too fucking early. You need to settle down and go for your pitch. Come on, Mendoza. Let's try to get a rally here. Come on, Mendoza. I believe in you. No, I don't. With your weak-ass fly ball to right field. Alright. Oh my god, don't hit him. Don't put people on base. That's not cool. Why is that not a double play? Oh, Rivard is really fast. Nice. Let's throw to first one more time. All right. Come on, guys. We got to get on base here. Why can you not get, like, I get it. He's a good pitcher. But you're not getting anything on his pitches, like, in the least. You're setting every fucking thing you're getting right off the end of the bat. Yeah, we're going to take some pitches. We're going to make this jerk work for once. Alright, well, I got to let you swing now, Addison. The thing is that none of my hitters can touch him right now. Alright. It's righty, righty, righty. Let's go ahead and get Salgado warmed up. And go ahead and pitch to Pombo. Timon and Pombo. Good play, Mendoza. Vargas. And Lomelli. All done. Well done, friends. Well done. Alright. Let's take some fucking pitches here. Let's try to get ourselves in some kind of position to do some damage here. Oh, at the very least, we need to trace Laguna. Either one of those would be a worthwhile objective. Go ahead and swing, Hilliard. I didn't mean strike out, though, you dumbass. That was a really good pitch. I'm not that mad, but I am somewhat annoyed. He just throws too damn many strikes. Yeah, Laguna's on top of his game today. It's going to be awfully hard to beat him. You're another guy who can draw walks, so let's try to be patient here. I'm even going to have you hold 3-0. Make him throw you a strike, and you don't, so... Alright, Rodriguez, again, we're going to try to work him into a hitter's count. Or he'll just throw 2 pitches and get all the assistance he needs. Robinson, you cannot swing. That's not that difficult. Just don't swing the bat. Come on, Robinson. Be a hero. God damn it. Love, you're out of the game. You had a very fine performance. It is not your fault that we are playing poorly today. You only made 1 mistake, but unfortunately it was a serious mistake. Don't walk people. That's not cool. Oh, nice work, Rodriguez. Good job. Okay, there we go. Nope, that's an out. Because we can't hit him. Like, take a fucking break, dude. You don't have to just throw every pitch in the exact perfect spot. No, apparently he does. And Addison, get your shit together. You're supposed to be the heart of this team, and you're playing really poorly. And I did not think about getting anybody up in the pen. This may prove to be our undoing. We shall see, though. Good play by Robinson. I love it. A not so good play there. Like, he's making fairly good pitches. They're just getting hit. A strikeout. And a diving stop by Robinson. What a play. Alright, so we need to get a reliever up. It's going to be 3 righties, so let's go ahead and get Alex Cloud loose in the pen. Portillo's, my dude, I desperately need you to get on base. No, he'll just throw perfect pitches the entire game. Yeah, like, there's nothing I can do about this. Laguna's just pitching out of his mind, and he's spotting every pitch perfectly. I know it only takes 1 mistake to tie the game, but the problem is he's not making mistakes. Yes, he's walked a few people, but then he gets people to make weak contact, and then it's a non-issue. No, that was a strike, dude. You can't be that stupid. And weak contact. That's our specialty today. We cannot get any solid piece of any of these pitches. The thing is, they're not going to pull him out of the game because he's got a no-hitter going. So until we get a hit, I think they're going to keep him in the game. That's an out. It's a loud out, but it is an out. And we're going to get Cloud in the game. Nicely done, Mr. Cloud. And a second. Oh no. Okay. Okay. Good job. Good job. Yeah, he's still in the fucking game. And I don't even blame them because, like, why wouldn't they? I don't have a good pinch hitter either. Oh no, give me my dude. I gotta keep making him work. If we're gonna have any shot at coming back, he's got to get out of this game. Win, lose, or draw, he needs to be out of this game. Like, eventually he's going to make a mistake, and we have to be ready to capitalize when that mistake happens. 3-1 normally lets you take a swing, but we just need base runners, so go ahead and just sit tight. There we go. On to first. I'm going to be conservative with Rodriguez, too. Oh, he gets a strike there. On the outside corner. And a strikeout, because of course it's a strikeout. And a fly ball out. Come on. Somebody hit this guy. There we go. And that got Laguna out of the game. Thank fucking God. I don't think Madison gets an out. Yeah. Alright, come on, Banks. Like, I can't even get mad. If we aren't able to win this game, hats off to the Maples. Not only did they beat the Padres, but really? Banks, you dumb fucker. That's actually not that bad a pitch, but the result was real bad. That's probably going to be enough. I mean, we're going to see what happens here, but just swing, Addison. I don't even care. Addison, this was disgusting. You had a chance to lift your team, and you just did nothing. This entire game, you've been this side of useless. And a weak ground ball to shortstop. Base hit for Hilliard. We're not totally out of it. Solorio's a pretty good hitter. Is there a better hitter on the bench, though? Etienne is a much better hitter. We got to work this count. This is our only chance. Really? Oh my God, what a wet fart of a game. That was ugly. And we just didn't hit. At all. I don't know what happened in this particular game. Like, maybe we just desperately missed Falcone at the top of the lineup because of his superior ability to get on base, but, like, literally nobody hit in that game. So, at least kind of a sour taste in my mouth. But you know what? We got beat by the better team. Every game was super close. And they got the games when we couldn't. And that's just how it is sometimes. That's just how it is. I wish them well in the World Series, although I don't really love their chances, to be honest with you. Laguna was just out of his mind that game, and there's no shame at all in being beat by a superior pitching performance. Damn, did the Maples win the World Series? Like, absolute fair play to the Maples. They beat the two toughest teams in Major League Baseball. They had to work for it, but they did. That is very impressive indeed. Ooh, it's going to go to Game 7. Oh, the Yankees won at the last minute. Boo, Yankees. Nobody likes the Yankees. Still, if I were El Paso, I would be proud. You took an incredibly challenging task going through the best teams that Major League Baseball had to offer. And that it didn't work out is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alright. So he didn't win our 4th consecutive World Series. That's his maybe. Oh, then actually gets rid of designated hitters. That's hilarious. What a shame that I won't be able to experience that. We're going to go to Hall of Fame voting. And then we're going to take a look at how the season went. And then we're going to conclude the episode. I don't care, Richard Cobb. You do what you need to do, my friend. I mean, you're not going to do better than I did, but I welcome you to try. I highly doubt we have much of a chance of getting any of the big individual awards, but we'll see what happens. What the fuck ever. I don't even care, dude. Another Gold Glove for Angelo Robinson. That's the only individual award we won. I don't know how I didn't get Manager of the Year, but I'm also not super surprised. Oh, have we had free agents on yet? No, we haven't. Good, that'll give me a chance to... Let's take this final walk down memory lane. Ozzy Portillos was sensational. He was an excellent player, and I'm really happy that we were able to get him. I think he was a big piece to our success. Other than that, though, we had, has been tradition last few seasons, a lot of really good players without a lot of great players. The elite players weren't playing at an elite level. Like, yes, Bobby Addison, big year. Jacob Etienne, big year. Decent years from Garza. Even a good year from Robinson, Hilliard, and Rodriguez. At the end of the day, it didn't matter. Because when it really came down to it in the playoffs, we fell short. But more importantly, we didn't have an elite hitter that could take over games. Addison was as close as I was going to get, and even he ended up being somewhat disappointing. Which is a real shame, because we had a pretty tremendous pitching staff this year. I mean, Dolores was great. Oh, Dolores got Cy Young? No, he didn't. He got nothing. He got Cy Young last year, but not this year. Broadwater was great. Pineda and Love were excellent. Salgado was brilliant. Good work from our relievers. I mean, everything that could have gone right with our pitching staff did go right. And it just wasn't enough. At the end of the day, it wasn't enough. And let's be clear. I am not at all disappointed with this team. I'm disappointed with our performance in Game 7 of the NLCS. But I think we did the very best we could. And we just ran to a pitcher who was as hot as you can get. I mean, weak contact was the order of the day that game. And we couldn't get past it. If I were going to play another season, I don't know what I would do differently, though. But regardless, I'm not going to do that. let's get into some Hall of Fame voting, and let's see if we can get Salgado. Salgado is right there. Can we get one more Pittsburgh Pirate into the Hall of Fame? I don't have a lot of hope, but it's possible. Oh, we're just adding people. That's right. I don't think you remotely deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but I'll vote for you anyway because that's just how I roll. Let's submit the ballot. The Gwinnett Stripers, not the Gwinnett Strippers. Very different thing. Very different. Okay. Neat. Would you stop bothering me right now, game? Man, Laguna. What a performance. What an absolute performance by Laguna. I am putting on multiple caps at the same time just so I can tip them all simultaneously. You can't compete with that. When a pitcher is locked in, it's like I used to say, there's no shame losing to Pedro Martinez. There's no shame losing to pitcher who's just that good. It's even more impressive because Laguna doesn't throw that hard. But for whatever reason, we were handcuffed the entire game. Did Addison really shit the bed? Absolutely. Addison was incredibly disappointing. But that's his maybe. Will we get one more Hall of Famer, I wonder? Will Henry Salgado join Manny Pozo and a couple of other players into the Hall of Fame? We'll find out. I don't care. I reject all trades. Seaside trading. Just let me get to the Hall of Fame. I don't know why you think I care, because I don't. Oh, right, it's gonna get bitchy at me. Isn't it? Because it's gonna want me to do the Rule 5. I don't care. I think my favorite way to acquire players is through the Rule 5 draft, just because you're literally taking a player that another team didn't think was good enough. Look how good Cincy's offense was this year, though. Like, 2 players are worth almost 9 wins. That's pretty wild. And that they got Rockwell stomped by me in the playoffs is all the sweeter. Damn, Laguna had a good season, though. As the clutchest of clutch pitching performances. I hope in El Paso lore, he is well regarded. C'est la vie. And Henry Salgado makes the Hall of Fame. I'm actually genuinely surprised. I thought if he made it in at all, it would be really close. but he did make it. So let us begin with that as we revisit all of our accomplishments. Let's look at all the Pittsburgh Pirates that made the Hall of Fame. Let's revisit their careers as a great place to kick off our fitting tributes. So what we're going to do is we're going to go sortable HOF. And we're going to do default. And then filter. Choose. I'm looking for best career team. Might not be in here though. It is not. What a shame. All players though, not just pitchers. All right. So first we have Andres Avila, the catcher that nobody else believed in, because we took a catcher who wasn't that great a catcher and turned him into a Hall of Famer. I'm genuinely surprised that he sailed into the Hall of Fame as easily as he did. But I'm happy for him because he was a key offensive force for the Pittsburgh Pirates. 10-time All-Star, 7-time Silver Slugger, 4 rings, and a couple of top 3 finishes. Actually, 4 top 3 finishes for MVP. These guys are all beforehand. Tommy McDonald. Big game, Tommy McDonald. I don't know why Tampa let him go, but Tampa's loss was definitely our gain. Or if you remember, Tommy was one of our starters when we first started winning World Series. Plus, he's a hometown kid. It's no surprise that he wanted to go win as a Pittsburgh Pirate. He did have technically 3 more, let's see here. He had exactly 2 more games with the Devil Rays. That's pretty funny. How many Cy Youngs did he get? Or Cy Youngs in this thing here. 5. Absolutely critical. The new Mr. Pirate, Manny Pozo. Manny was probably the best player that we've ever acquired. He did everything. He was a good defender, a top-tier hitter, got 3,000 hits and 400 homers. Ended up winning 7 All-Star appearances. Shockingly, never won a Silver Slugger, but that's because he always had a much more complete game. He had a much more complete game than a lot of other players. The newest Pirate to be inducted in the Hall of Fame, Henry Salgado. What a diamond in the rough he turned out to be. He was the first of that long series of Pirates where I took a player who could hit really, really well and just put him somewhere so that he could hit. But hit he did. He hit his way quite literally into the Hall of Fame. Now, his MVP year was so special. 53 homers, 316 average, 43 on base, nearly a triple crown. That was pretty great. Then perhaps the most surprising of all of Hall of Famers, Mike Tinch. Mr. Tinch had 515 saves. At the field, that's a big reason why he got voted in. I frankly don't know why he didn't have a better career with his other teams, but once he came to Pittsburgh, he was able to lock it down and just have a phenomenal career. So at the end of the day, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Hall of Famers, 3 of whom were... Oh, Eric Corrigan made the Hall of Fame too. How is he listed as a Pittsburgh Pirate? I guess he did start his career with me. I didn't even notice that. That's even more shocking. I guess none of the other teams he liked well enough to wear their hats, but I don't know why. Oh, he technically did pitch more games for Pittsburgh than anybody else. That's fair. But so we had 6 Hall of Famers. Really though, I see this as having 3 Hall of Famers. Avila, Pozo, and Salgado. The other 3, I found them and made them megastars, but that's not really our people. We found and developed all 3 of them. Avila, the international free agent. Pozo, the international free agent. Henry Salgado, the 9th round draft pick. That's what's especially awesome. 9th round. And he ends up a Hall of Famer. That's really special. And I mean, it's obviously it pales in comparison with Pittsburgh, but the Pittsburgh Pirates, or not the Pittsburgh Pirates, Mike Piazza was a 62nd round draft pick, but we did it, friends. We absolutely did it. Let's talk about team history. Let's look at this team's history. They had a couple world championships back in the day. They had won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 World Series by the time I took over. And look at these doldrums, right? From 93 to 2012, never made the playoffs. Made the playoffs 3 times in a row, and then kept missing the playoffs. And let me be clear, it took us a long time for this team to be what it needed to be. We didn't even get over 500 until 2026. So the team for 5 years before we could even make them good enough to make what they needed to make. And then in 2028, we won 105 games. And that started a very long string of playoff appearances. From 2028 to 2071, we missed 1, 2, 3 playoff appearances. That's phenomenal. And most importantly, we won multiple World Series, specifically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 World Series championships, making me the greatest manager of all time. Not that there's a whole lot of surprise in that. Let's take a longer trip down memory lane, though. Let's look at our all-time leaders in offense. Actually, no, let's do the registers. This is going to be the best way to do this. Oh, no, this is for the team as a whole. That's not for the all-time leaders. Let's do that. So, no single season average crowns, sadly, there. But Henry Salgado was number 4 all-time in on-base percentage. Number 2 in slugging. John Navio, number 1. That's a guy we can remember with pride. Juan Soto. Remember when he played for us? It wasn't a very long career for the Pirates, but we got him for 3 years. He was our first big-time free agent. And it turned out beautifully for us. OPS single season Pirate is Henry Salgado. A phenomenal season. John Navio was just lightning in a bottle. He truly, truly was. There was that one season where he came in and was the Rookie of the Year and was phenomenal. And then his career just died. He never even approached the same level of talent as he did that one magical season in Pittsburgh. Mostly driven by his ridiculous home run, his ridiculous power. He finished second place in the MVP standings, and then never did much else. Single season WAR, none of our players ever cracked the 10 WAR mark. We had a few players play 162 games. Nick Rosra, this is a guy worth remembering too. Remember how Rosra was one of those big players we thought was going to change the franchise? I remember. And then he ended up just like completely falling flat. But there was a time he was special. He was one of our linchpins. And he never really met the level of his rookie season, where he easily won Rookie of the Year and probably got some MVP votes. I wouldn't be shocked. 2037, second in the MVP race. There you go. A magical season and a batting title, and then it was all downhill from there. He couldn't stay healthy. The most important ability is availability, and he wasn't. And because he couldn't stay healthy, it wasn't worth paying him the contract that he had. But still, a legend in Pirates history. Mike Iglesias. One of those rare few where the AI didn't rate him properly because he wasn't a brilliant defender. And he came in, stabilized the lineup, and helped us win a World Series championship. Johnny Cerulli. Man, what might have been with him. He was such a good power hitter for so long. But then he fizzled. He also had issues staying healthy, but not as many as other players did. But he was always a very one-dimensional player. If he wasn't hitting home runs, he wasn't that useful. Jordan Munoz, who for a very brief period is one of the better players in the game, and then again he started getting hurt and eventually got traded. ABs in a season. Wow, Rusty Oliver. I thought we had our super elite on-base guy, and it turned out he wasn't that. He was solid. I mean, that 2043 season was something we desperately needed. He could do it all that year. And then he just stopped doing it. Really good player, though. I'm somewhat surprised he didn't even get one Hall of Fame vote. I'm not that surprised, but I'm a little surprised. That's a name for you right there. Rusty Oliver. Remembering some guys. Salgado. Sean Hill. Man. Of all the bad contract decisions I made, giving him that gigantic extension for a first baseman who could get on base but didn't have a ton of other skills, that was silly. It was ridiculous. Did he bounce back with Toronto and have a couple of the good years? Absolutely. But that was still a big mistake on my part. I don't know why I gave him that giant contract. To this day, I don't know what possessed me to overcommit to him. Chris D'Andrea. Oh my. What an incredible season he had in 2041. Just an utterly incredible season. And then he vanished. Never to be heard from again. A batting title, 76 doubles? Are you joking me? What a season that was. What a season. Bill Garay, another of a long line of excellent but frequently injured players that we acquired. He did make the Hall of Fame, but he's not a Pirate. He's a Yankee in his heart of hearts, and I don't blame him for that. We got a lot of good mileage out of him, though, and a couple of World Series as well. Good times. Sergio Bermudez. Oh my, that's a name I remember all too well. Remember how excited I got when I traded for him? Like, oh, this is going to solve our right field problem. And then he had that one season that was really good, and that was it. I thought he was the answer, but I don't know what he was an answer to. I don't know what the question was. Nobody broke the singles. Obviously, DeAndrea, Oliver, Avila, John Nelson, the batting average master who stopped hitting for average. What a player he was, though, at his peak. Just racking up hit after hit after hit after hit to all fields. Not elite power, but a really good player. Then he got replaced by Rosario, and the rest is history. Mario Revelar, a second baseman, who was another one of those players where I swear I spent most of this entire run looking for great second basemen. And I just kept finding players that were just good enough, and then they'd wash out. Revelar had that one really good season in 2057. He got a ring for it, but other than that, he was sadly unimpressive. Tony Zamora. Oh, one of the other revolving door positions I've been looking for ages, which is center field. Yeah. I moved on from him right quick. Which was probably the right call. No leaders in triples. Salgado again. Gray. Bobby Addison, one of our newest big sluggers. It's a shame Salgado could have gotten 2 more home runs in 2058 to break the all-time home run record by a Pirate in a season, but that's all right. Plenty of ribbies here. Will Simpson. I have no idea who that is. I don't remember you. You had a really good 2031, though. How did I even acquire you? Did I draft you? Oh, I drafted you and you didn't sign. Then you drafted with Tampa. Oh, I got you in the high school draft. You didn't sign with me. You ended up going to Tampa. You got cut. You played in the Indies. Bounced around different indie places. No, sorry, minors is where you ended up. And then I traded you. I acquired you along with John Nelson and Devin Taylor. Cristian Hernandez. That's a name I do remember. But yeah, I don't remember this guy at all. I mean, that was a long time ago, though. That was like a year ago. So hopefully I can be forgiven for not remembering everybody. Salgado, real good player. No shocks there. Oh my gosh. Frickin' Henry Salgado has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the top 10 walk records. Salix Brown. What a guy. Another second baseman I got overly attached to, who at least admittedly was really, really good. Until he wasn't. And of course, he did me the poor service of waiting until after he got his amazing contract to... I mean, Jose Gade ended up being a big fat nothing, so I definitely won the trade. But, again, 8 years was way too long. Marvin Zapata, we all know him quite well, I think. Dan Aldridge, one of a long procession of a time in my history where I thought I would just get big-time power hitters. And he did hit for big-time power, but also struck out a lot. Jordan Walker was a third baseman for us for a brief period. He was a useful player. Another one of my reclamation projects. A guy that other teams have given up on. I acquired him for a fairly minor sum. Oh no, I got him in a trade. Okay. No, I didn't. I could have sworn I got him in free agency. Yeah, 1.4 million, and he ended up being a really solid player. Oh, that's right. Then I traded him. I traded with the Nationals, who then released him, and I signed him again. Caleb DeMuzio was a good player if used in very limited circumstances, and then every other team in his career decided he could play every day, which he couldn't. Ricky Peral. It was Peral, Rosario, and Daniel Cabrera, I want to say, all came up right around the same time. No, Daniel Cabrera was a different franchise, wasn't he? Who was the third guy? It was Rosario, Peral, and Zion Rose, maybe? Possibly? I don't remember who the third horseman was, but there were definitely three of them. And Peral just couldn't hit regularly. He was a great player, though. Truly one of the better Pirates we've had, but he didn't have a very long career, and he really started to fall short. Let's think about career numbers, though. Nobody here is even close, except for Rosario. Retired with pretty good numbers there. On base percentage, Salgado. Very nice. Elijah Bohannon, though, rocketing up that list. Slugging percentage, Bill Garay, Johnny Cerulli, Rosario, Iglesias, Munoz, Pagan. Career OPS, Garay and Salgado again, and Sean Hill, and Rosario. So we found some really great players. We had some really great hitters. Pozo was never going to catch Wagner, but let's talk about Garrett Gunnels. What a player he was. I still think he should have made the Hall of Fame. I truly believe that. I know why he didn't. Because his value wasn't getting on base. And the Hall of Fame has historically been bad at recognizing that. But he was so damn good. He was our first real homegrown superstar. And remember, we acquired him as a third baseman. And we were panicking too, right? We're like, oh man, we've got such good third basemen. And then we're like, but what if we put him in the outfield? And then he thrived. Got himself an MVP. Probably should have had 2 or 3 more, in all honesty. He was really special, was Garrett Gunnels. And again, I'm shocked that he didn't make the Hall of Fame, whereas Henry Salgado made it easily. But you can't win them all, I guess. Manny Pozo is Mr. Pirate, though, in a lot of ways. Most games played as a Pittsburgh Pirate. The only other players in the modern era that were close were Salgado, Gunnels, and Avila. At bats, Pozo, by a lot. Granted, not Roberto Clemente's fault, of course, since he died in a plane crash. I'm sure he would have played many more years with the Pirates had he had the opportunity. Gunnels coming in at the bottom there. Runs scored by a Pirate. Good times there. Hits. One of only 3,000 hitmen in the history of the Pittsburgh Pirates is Manny Pozo. I'd forgotten that Honus Wagner didn't quite get to 3,000 hits. A shame, perhaps. Total bases, Pozo. Singles, Pozo, 5th among the modern players. Although Avila and Salgado had plenty too. Doubles, Pozo by a lot. Triples, we didn't have a chance. None of our players were that good at hitting triples. 490 homers by Salgado in his Pirates career. The all-time leader in home runs by a Pittsburgh Pirate. You'd love to see that. And some other long-standing friends. Ribbies, Pozo. I mean, Ribbies are a junk set anyway. I don't really care if we're number 1 there or not. Steals. Was it Omar Moreno? Oh, he was not one of my players. That's his maybe. Career walks. The top 4 right there. Pozo, number 2 all time of being hit by pitches. I remember Jason Kendall in real life getting hit all the fucking time. That'd drive people crazy. Clint Daly, the Eternal Pirate, who was really good defensively, and he kept thinking, oh, thank God I'm free, and I kept re-signing him in free agency. That was hilarious. Like, I'm free. No, damn it. Yay, I get a minor league contract. Oh no, I'm hurt. Clint Daly. What a dude. Let's look at our pitchers. Not even close to single season RA. Not a surprise because of the dead ball era. Or in wins. Or in losses. Winning percentage, Tommy McDonald's amazing career as a Pirate. Let's talk about Ty Sims. He was the successor to Tommy McDonald in a lot of ways. Tommy McDonald ran, so Ty Sims could also run. He even made the Hall of Fame, but not as a Pirate, sadly. And I can't blame him. He did have a much longer career with Milwaukee. But he was what we needed when we needed it, and I'll forever be grateful to him for that. Mike Giles, what a story he was. He just pitched in so many places and just couldn't get a break. And then we acquired him, and he got a chance to flourish and win the World Series. We got some good stuff from him. Juan Espinosa. Just had him in the very middle of his career, but we got him in his prime, and he definitely was very helpful to us. Joe Field. Only 3 years a Pirate, but they were magical years. Magical years. Including a Cy Young Award. Jesus Moya. The prospect who could never quite live up to the hype. He had some phenomenal seasons early on in his career, but it seemed like there was always that extra gear we were expecting from him, and he could just never hit it. It is a shock he didn't win the Cy Young Award either the 2 times that he finished number 1 in WAR. And he got his World Series titles, but then he couldn't ever be that truly elite pitcher that we needed him to be. He had a nice little career toward the end there, though, as a reliever. I think he extended his career a bit longer, but always feels vaguely disappointing, and yet was still one of the better pitchers in Pirates history. Willie Acevedo, one of a long line of closers that I traded before they got expensive. And at the right time, too. He never had a season as good as he did as 2030. He was never that good again. Jake LeMaster. Apparently never played for me. Oh, right. He was the first baseman who actually turned out to be a pretty good pitcher, too. And he spent most of his time pitching for me. I remember that Trebishimockery. Ramon Gonzalez, another pitcher moved on from at the perfect time. Weirdly, Mike Tinch isn't there. That is quite strange. Durbin Feltman, the ultimate Pirate, who I completely forgot about until right now. And then Eric Corrigan. Nate Sinclair. I know we only got to the very end of his career, but damn was he special as a pitcher. Look at this ridiculousness. 13-time Cy Young winner. 13. And let's not miss fact there's 2 more second place finishes. That's insane. Almost as good as Pink Collie was nearly 200 years before. And there's Sims. Joe Camp, the first of a long line of pitchers that we just We found a secret weapon, and just getting a pitcher that pitched lots and lots and lots of innings, even if they didn't start. We took him from an also-ran starter into one of the best relievers in the game and got him his third act, returning to the starting rotation. But we rehabilitated him in a very real way because a lot of teams had not given him many opportunities. Good old Ed Hodges, the new Joe Camp, was something pretty special. Complete games. Yep. Juan leveled out with 39 home runs in 2067. That was a constant concern for us, though. We definitely had issues with pitchers giving up homers, including guys like Guofeng Tian. The one time I think I posted for a player. Oh, no, he wasn't a posting guy. I just acquired him. Robert Diago, who we had hoped would be a stabilizing force in the rotation. Turned out he really wasn't. Corey McLaughlin, another story of eternal promise never quite met. Nate Brooks. We gave up a lot to get him, but he ended up being pretty great, including getting a perfect game. Victor Rios, the Pirate, the once and future Pirate who started out with us as a reliever, went off to bigger and better things that came back to us as a starter. Walks a lot in the season. Thankfully, nobody. Nate Brooks with his low walks per 9. Sinclair dominates that strikeout list. Tommy McDonald already talked about. Juan Love, of course. Andy Maldonado, the original disappointment. So much potential. So much. And he just kept getting injured. And I couldn't risk it anymore. I couldn't keep giving him opportunities. He deserved better from the Hall of Fame committee, but I don't think he would have broken 10%. Strikeout per walk. A lot of very familiar names there, as well as the whip list. Opposing average. Nate Sinclair was really fucking good, wasn't he? It's a shame he didn't go in as a Pirate, but I completely understand why he didn't. Well, yeah, I mean, like, nobody slugged that well in the dead ball era, so that's a little bit unhelpful. ERA for a career. Literally none of the Pirates here actually played for. I take that back. Ivan Latona. Or Ivan Latona coming in at number 6. Very nice. Career wins by a Pirate. Jose Brown. That was a nice acquisition for us. Jose Brown was pretty unremarkable with Seattle. But then we brought him in and we turned him into a very solid starting pitcher for a long time for us. He was so reliable. Just through so many quality innings. He was never the best pitcher on the team, but never the worst. Up until the very end there. And then it continued to have a pretty decent career. What a guy he was. What an absolute unit. Career losses. Thankfully, nobody on my team. Nate Hyde was a reliever for us. He wasn't that important. But it's kind of cool to see him get the record. Dave McTavish. Good times. Mike Turhar, one of my other long processions of relievers that I gave up on before they got pricey. A lot of people in the winning percentage here are more recent. Latona, Broadwater, Joe Burton, another Long-time closer. Not Jesse Tannehill, though. Mike Tench, the all-time Pirate save leader. Hodges is getting up there, though. Corrigan's up there. Ramon Gonzalez and Durbin Feltman. Career WAR for a pitcher, Tommy McDonald, quite high in the list, as is Nate Sinclair. Juan Love, though, homegrown guy, rapidly climbing that list. I don't think he'll be atop it at the end of his career, but he'll definitely be in the top 3. I feel pretty confident about that. Total games pitched. Ed Hodges, of course, ranks extremely high. Latona, Turhar, and Joe Burton. I don't remember Burton. Yes, I do. I just talked about Burton a few moments ago. I'm a potato. Game started, Jose Brown. And Moya. Really? Moya's number 8 all-time, a game started by a Pirate, and yet I still thought of him as I still think of him as a disappointment. Maybe I'm being unfair, though. Shutouts. Innings pitched. We're not going to compete with a lot of these dead ball era guys. Brown was pretty solid, though. Most hits allowed. Not really a list you want to be on, but Brown is there. Juan Love does have given him up the gopher ball, doesn't he? Walks allowed. Jose Brown. Gross. Low walks per 9. Sims. Brooks. Strikeouts already. Juan Love is number 1. That's pretty awesome. Pretty solid. Mitch Keller. Now that's a name I haven't thought about in a while. He was our original, one good pitcher, and then he just ended up not having that exceptional a career. Nate Hyde, another strikeout machine among our bullpen. Jairo Solis, same deal, another top-notch reliever that we had for a short time. Alex Aguilar, same thing, and Joe Camp. Jimmy Weaver, very briefly a Pirate, very effective when he was there. Mike the Barber. Not a long time with the Pirates, but a good time. Career whip. A lot of unsurprising names there. Latona, very, very hard to hit. Ops. Career WAR by a pitcher. Only Tommy McDonald is close. So, yeah. Let's look at our rates of retired numbers. Ralph Kiner did not... Oh, that's when he died. Okay. So that's he did not play until then. So we retired Manny Pozo in 2062. Number 10. 26 for McDonald. 27 for Avila. And 41 for Mike Tinch. Nice. Oddly, Henry Salgado's number wasn't retired. That doesn't seem fair. He's a Hall of Famer. He deserves it. I'd also like to retire Garrett Gunnell's number. I'm not going to mess with it, though. Let's look at our positional starters. Let's take a while to load that. We're just going to zip up to when we took over the team and just remember some guys as we close this out here. Jacob Stallings, catcher extraordinaire. Had Will Myers, Adam Frazier, Newman, Swaggerty. I remember acquiring him, thinking he'd be a pretty special center fielder. Lexley had quite the career in the KBO, even if he wasn't that great in the majors. Tucker, Logan Brown. There's John Nelson. Gavin Guidry. Yeah, he was another Eternal Pirate that kept getting re-signed, even if he wanted to go other places. Eventually did move on, though. Bryant Hayes was never that special for us. Cole Young. Noah Smith. Our very first overall draft pick. Not that great. Probably should have gone for somebody else. Hudson Head. Kyle Tucker. The Soto years with Cole Young and Garrett Gunnels starting out as a third baseman. Ty Rose. Remember that? Zion Rose. Remember that year we got excited because they got 2 first-round draft picks? He ended up being okay, just not anything truly special. Theo Gillen during his brief time with the Pirates as our shortstop. Let me start seeing a lot of Gunnels, a lot of Perreault, Rosario. I think it was Rosario, Perreault, and who was the third horseman? Was it Ramon Ramirez? Maybe. I had a lot of hopes for him. He just ended up not being all that great. Avila, the eternal catcher. Joe. I remember him. We brought him out of the Taiwanese baseball organization. He was actually really good for a very short time. And then we traded him. He was actually even better, which was kind of disappointing. Ling Kung Jo was a pretty solid player for a short time. I definitely appreciated him. Almaguer, the man who constantly overperformed his stats until he stopped, which was a bad decision for him. I'm glad we found Robinson. Robinson was pretty solid. Let's go through something a bit more painful. Well, let's look at the picture of starters. And then we're going to talk about our draft history and how it's actually pretty terrible. So let's check some stuff out here. Keller, Cool, Brubaker, Brault, and Anderson. Quinn Priester never ended up being all that special in our time frame. You did pitch for a while for us, was never anything special. Tian. I remember Charlie Burr. We haven't had a lot of stability in our rotation over the years. I think that's one of our bigger weaknesses. Roman Alvarado, another guy whose injuries eventually made him significantly worse. Bautista. Caleb Bautista, I remember him too. Gresham, of course, and Mifflin. I remember both of them. Yeah. Let's look at our draft history, because I think it's important to learn how to be humble. And the fact I missed on a lot of these draft picks here. Like, Noah Smith was average. And he was the first overall draft pick. I didn't hit on a single draft pick here in any real sense of the word. (2022) wasn't anything special. I don't see any big names there. I remember Carson Montgomery. I thought he was going to be great, and he ended up being complete shit. But we got Zion Rose that same draft. That was maybe the first round draft pick that we took that actually ended up being pretty helpful to us. Alex Aguilar was actually pretty solid for a short time, so that went pretty well. thought DeJong had some kind of career, but I guess he didn't. Ty Sawandas. Cole Young was actually really solid and then just kept getting hurt and kept being really expensive. And that was at a time where we still couldn't spend very much money. So I think trading him when we did made a ton of sense. And we actually got a decent return in Goffredo Romo and Stanford Pie. Pie. Still arguably one of our more successful draft picks. Gavin Guidry was around forever because of his defense. Gunnels, of course. When we do hit, we hit real hard. Willie Acevedo was a very helpful contributor for a brief period. Caleb Hampton was helpful in small doses. Nate Circo never ended up being anything, but Hyde was. I remember Santiso, he got some playing time. No, he didn't. Not with me, he didn't. Never mind. Dave Albring. He did throw some innings for us. He was useful for a brief period. Largely not that impressive, though. Jeremy Van Sant. I never gave him a real opportunity. And as a result, it just like nothing happened with him. Ramon Gonzalez ended up being pretty solid in that group. Nate Davis never made the majors. Eppers definitely never made the majors. JJ Matos was actually a pretty decent starting pitcher for us for a short time. Just injury prone to an extreme level. Jose Gadea got traded before he ever actually played for us. Dalen Newstrom. That 1 year, he came in as like a utility guy, like a platoon guy, and he was really good for 2 years. And then that's all we got out of him. That's a name I remember fondly. Not at the time I didn't remember fondly, but now I do. Josh Cage. Who did he get traded for? Chris Logan? Gross. Chris Logan didn't do anything for me either. A rare mistake there. I do remember Victor Rivera. We had brought him in to be a third baseman of the future, and he never quite met. We never gave him a real chance, to be perfectly honest. And he actually did excel when given that real chance. So that's on me. 2 first-round picks, neither one of them worked out. SMH my head. Eric Martin, I remember him being a pretty helpful reliever for us for at least a short time. But he was always disappointing because he kept walking people. That was always his issue. And he never really solved that either. Danny Bell did make the majors, but then got traded. Because he ended up being not that exciting. Myers. A lot of players that aren't that impressive. Andy Marks. Never played even 1 inning for me because I traded him for Danny Lesbron and Nate Hurd. This trade I remember. AJ Gracia was one of my other reclamation projects that I moved on from at the exact right time. Oh, Brent Sobolewski. Bobby, you didn't like your arm like fall off or some bullshit? Well, looks like you played a little bit in the Indies, but he didn't really accomplish much. A lot of bad draft picks here. Kennedy. Tim Kennedy. I got some innings out of you. Not much out of the rest of these jerks, though. Kevin Patton was an okay middle reliever for a while. Chris D'Andrea, absolute legend. Vincent Neely in his one pitching season with us. Greg Fleischman. I don't know how many times we tried to make him into an elite closer and he just kept not doing it. Josh Hawk, the third baseman, who had virtually no career with me. I really drafted poorly for a lot. Jared Gall ended up being okay. But a lot of these guys were not. Rusty Oliver, one of my bigger successes in the draft. For sure. And a 6th round draft pick. That was when we started looking at pitchers who should have been pitchers and started unlocking some better potential there. Corrigan and Merrill both ended up being useful players. Just not for me, for Merrill. Because Merrill turned into Juan Mendez because I needed starting pitching. I always needed starting pitching. I gave up probably more than I ought to have to get it. Jared Gilbert ended up not being a thing for me. Jimmy Hurdy. A lot of guys here. Some real deep guy remembering. Rob Wild. I called it. I was like, this guy's never going to be anything special. And I let him go in the Rule 5 draft, and it proved to be correct. Not a very good player was Rob Wild. Josh Wasson had an okay career with us. I remember him bouncing around, playing a lot of different positions. I was in my middle infielder phase at that point. Mike Roberts was briefly a pitcher of some renown. Tim Olson was not for me anyway. A lot of players who never made the majors here. Luis Montour, sorry. He did make the majors. He did pitch a little bit for us, but he wasn't anything special. Jody Cox. And again, some other issues there. Butch James with his insignificant major league career. Johnny Stevenson, Chris Neff. Neff was that one guy kept like bouncing around between the majors and the minors before I eventually gave up on him. I remember that. I remember J.J. Wheeler or Jaden Wheeler. Never actually played for me. Probably traded him. Vince Cleaver. Cleaver Girl. Yeah, I'm really bad at drafting, I'm quickly noticing here. Like, it could be bad luck, right? Like, that's always a real situation here, but Jerry Cohen never made the majors. Joel Lewis made the majors, but not with me. Virgil Hill pitched for me for a bit. He was at least okay. Jim Gender was one of our better draft picks. Gender was, apart from his injuries, one of our more reliable relief pitchers. So Jim Gender in the 7th round actually turned out to be a pretty solid draft pick. Clint Daly and Johnny Cerulli were both real good draft picks. They both played for quite a while for us. Pat Langus, not so much. Kurt Coates, I remember throwing some innings here and there for us. Hank Hess was doomed from the start. He was one of those players that had a very specific skill set that I acquired for, and he was just never that great. Greg Weld by himself was much more useful than Hess ever was. Rob Collins had a very brief and undistinguished career. I think what I find most perturbing is when I've had like 2 draft picks, I still don't do that great with them. Luis Gonzalez and Nate Sanders both at least got small opportunities, if not very long ones. Jim Hughes was briefly a platoon guy for a couple seasons, then I just gave up on him. Danny Clemens never went anywhere. Didn't even make the major leagues. Steve Switzer did, but he wasn't that great. Wow, I suck at drafting. Sorrentino, we definitely got a decent career out of. I definitely remember him pitching some innings for us. Benayoun was an okay catcher for a short time for us. I remember Benayoun as well. Jonathan Webb was briefly a player of some note. Sean Rowe. I just couldn't find a spot for him. And he had a couple of good years, but never anywhere near the level I thought he would be. Rowe would have been a nice player if we had figured out what to do with him. Sean Hill was genuinely great. Sean Hill was an excellent choice. That turned out really well for us. Until I gave him too much money. As was Jose Herrera, a nice successor to Avila and a good backup catcher as well. That's a pretty solid return for a second-round draft pick. Barbo, not so much. Henderson, not so much. Okay. Mike Day was with us for... No, I'm thinking of somebody else, not Mike Day. Gossett was a nothing burger. Never made the majors. Lazoya never made the majors. Oh, I take it back. He did and then got hurt. Kevin Patterson made the majors with other teams. Pat Link got rushed into service, but wasn't anything special when he was. Some kind of yikes choices here. Irvin Moreno. Another one of my long tradition of trying to get a good starting pitcher in the first round. Didn't work out. Montesino was okay, though. We got some nothing out of him. Never mind. I thought Montesino had a bigger role than he did. Mario Rebelar was a solid first-round pick. That one ended up working out for us okay. Bobby Herrera. Never... No, I'm thinking of a different Herrera. Because Bobby Herrera never made the big leagues. A different Bobby Herrera did. Henry Salgado, though, seemed like that worked out pretty well. Pretty well. Robbie Rodriguez was never had a position, and so I ended up trading him for a relatively okay package. Ernesto Turner, another classic victim of I can't find more playing time for you, so you end up having no career. A bunch of people never made the majors. Mike Soto. A huge what might have been scenario. Mike Soto was incredibly well positioned to take over from Manny Pozo, and he just couldn't do it. He couldn't provide significant enough offense, and I just had to give up on him. A lot of potential for Mike Soto, just never ended up working out. Saeed never made the majors, I don't think. Oh, he's still in them. Oh, he's in the Indies, I think. Good for him. All levels combined, please. Yeah, he went to the Indies and I never saw him again. Brian Thompson. I don't remember being anything special. Devon Solomon Osorio. He pitched for us for a little bit. No, he didn't. Sure he did. Yeah, don't fuck with me. We got some decent play out of a 7th round draft pick. You gotta respect that. Jorge Hidalgo ended up getting traded. It wasn't that great a catcher to begin with. Wait, what? How did I trade for Ernesto Turner when I always had Ernesto Turner? Oh, I drafted him, then I traded him, then I traded for him again. Okay. Alright. Almaguer was a great pick, though. Almaguer was a really solid player for us for a while. I remember Kwamani getting a little bit of playing time, but nothing significant for us. He was okay, though. Cuba. Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Jose Mejia never ended up pitching for us. Aguinaga, I definitely remember trying to give opportunities to. He never really capitalized on them. Some other names here. Juan Camacho is still pitching in the indie leagues. Marioki. Spandar Abishan. I still hear his name every now and again. Nothing special, but for one of my first round picks, pretty decent. Mario Dickey's actually had a pretty decent career. I gave up on him too early. What did I get for? I got Mike Brinkman. That was probably a mistake. Masakami Fuji pitched for us for a very long time indeed. Very, very effective. Martin Rubio was never that great. I got 1 year out of him. Jane Jumps. Justin Tuss was actually pretty damn solid for us for a pretty decent length of time. Tufts, I think, is another clear success here. And the 3rd round. Jackson, Juarez, Donald. Julian Williams, I gave up on. But for a good reason, he was never a center fielder, and I think forcing him to try to be one was a mistake. We got a good rookie season out of him, 1 Rookie of the Year, but he never quite lived up to that potential again. Still, I've made worse choices. Freddie Suarez. He never quite got it done. He had that magical season where he hit 277 and then never even approached that again with me. A lot of these guys I don't even remember. That's pretty terrible of me, I suppose. Salgado he hasn't been the world beater we thought he would be, but he has been pretty solid. Campos never made the majors. A lot of players here, not particularly special. Broadwater was brilliant. Broadwater is probably one of my best all-time draft picks. Alex Moreno, not so much. Dave Caraballo. Espinosa never made the majors. Roberson did make the majors. I traded him to... Wasn't he part of the Juan Love package? No, he wasn't. I was just trying to get Danny Farias, which is a mistake. Jose Barrera has been a useful pick, though, out of the 2nd round. He's actually been pretty handy. Mitter Wallner found his career. It just wasn't with me. This was a mistake. I should never have traded him for Tony Sanders. I know I needed a shortstop at that point, but Mitter Wallner would be a much better player than that. Alex Cloud had a pretty decent career, though, as a reliever for us. Baumschlager cannot be released. Woodard was nothing. Yeah, he offers nothing to no one. Angelo Robinson was a really good draft pick, though. Like, I know his value is purely defensive, but that doesn't matter because he's really good at his defense. So Angelo Robinson turned out to be a very nice draft pick, a very excellent fourth-round pick. Micah White was decent for a while, but quickly lost some of his skill. Kyle Cordova never worked out. Brian Bass is a non-factor. Elijah Jackson has low-key been a very useful player. Never my first choice, but often my second or third choice. He's actually been very productive in a lot of ways. Hector Romero. Was it worth it for Ivan Garza? Arguably, yes. I did need an elite second baseman, and I got one. But damn. He'd look awfully tasty in our rotation right now. Alcorda is meh. Holiday, meh. Lots of meh up and down the road here. Juan Cordova might have had a chance to get some at-bats if I had played another couple of seasons. Javi Diaz, it looks pretty good for LA. Chris Cannon was worth it, though. Chris Cannon was very, very instrumental in a lot of our recent success. A bunch of players who meant nothing to no one. Quinones was in my center field phase. I kept trying for all the center fielders, and he just never hit. This is a pretty crappy draft class. Just very few people showed up. Rod Myers could still be something interesting, but he's a long ways away from accomplishing even that minor goal. Isaiah Steele does still have a lot of potential, though. He might be a good in. Same with Jose Alvarez and Jose Barrito, perhaps. So there's some decent picks in this draft class yet that could still turn out to be something useful. Mario Mendoza already made the major leagues. Quicker than I anticipated, but not the end of the world. Jose Sanchez, not so much. Not so much. Darius Deloney is billions of years away from the big leagues. Some good players, though, that might someday be useful. And this is the draft that the AI made for me. So, is this like all-time batting leaders? No, this is my current leaders. Okay. That is it, my friends. I honestly hope that you've enjoyed this series. I enjoyed playing it more than I thought I would. From the highest of highs to the lowest of lows and everything in between. Even if I never drafted well, I was really good at identifying talent and knowing when to give up on people for the most part. And I think that served us quite well. Good times, everybody. Good times. So now all that remains is to announce which team I'm going to be playing as when we resume next Friday with the new series. And that team will be the Oakland Athletics. A couple things came into mind when people started suggesting teams. I know I wanted to go back to the American League. Mostly because I spent so long with the Pirates, I kind of didn't want to go back to the NL. Otherwise, I really strongly considered the Reds or the Cardinals. But the Cardinals are too good right now, and I just spent the better part of a year playing in the NL Central. I want to do something different. So yeah, it should be a lot of fun, I hope. It's going to be a challenge, which is what I'm looking for. We'll see what happens, my friends. Until next time, though, thank you very much for watching this series and all the series on my channel. It really means a lot to me to have such wonderful and amazing viewers and commenters that always have really insightful things to tell me. I don't always listen to you, for better or for worse, but I always appreciate it nonetheless. Until next time, this has been Abguardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.